Welcome back to Motion 24, where we go beyond the cameras and into the truth. Today, we're uncovering what could be the most explosive financial scandal in the history of Roloff Farms. Reports suggest a shocking $500,000 blockade has been placed on the north side of the property, freezing any potential transfer to the kids. The legal weapon? A mechanic's lien. But here's the twist. It wasn't filed by a contractor. It was filed by Caryn Chandler. The claim allegedly stems from a so-called phantom loan, $500,000 for unpaid management services she says she's owed by Matt Roloff. Is this a legitimate debt or a calculated power move? Did the money ever truly exist? Or is this a strategic attempt to secure a payout before the farm's future shifts? Sources say Amy Roloff is digging into the financial details, determined to uncover the truth. If this lien stands, the farm's legacy could be frozen. If it falls, the fallout could be even bigger. The question remains, is this financial protection or the ultimate betrayal? To understand the gravity of this situation, we have to look at the timeline of the last few months through the lens of these new explosive insider theories. Everyone knows the narrative that has been pushed on television, that Zach and Jeremy couldn't come to an agreement with Matt, that the price was too high, and that the negotiations simply fell apart due to stubbornness. But new information suggests that the deal was actually much closer than anyone realized. There are rumors going around among people close to the production that there was a short window when a contract with one of the twins was not only possible, but also very close. The banks were involved, the first paperwork was being put together, and the dream of preserving the farm and the family was about to come true. There is a process in real estate called the title search. This is when the bank and the lawyers look through public records to make sure that the land is free of any debts, judgments, or claims. Most of the time, this is only a formality. But in this case, the title search supposedly found a huge red flag, a cloud on the title that stopped the bank in its tracks. This wasn't a normal mortgage or a line of credit from a bank. This was a private lien, specifically a mechanic's lien or a claim of interest based on unpaid bills for services given. The amount of documentation was an unbelievable $500,000, and Caryn Chandler, the creditor, was named on the document. This new information changes everything about the show's previous past. If this lien is real, it implies that Matt Roloff can't sell even 1 acre of the land until he pays off the loan he owes Caryn. She is basically holding the deed hostage. The first question that comes to mind is, how? How can a farm manager get $500,000 worth of unpaid work? This is when the idea of the phantom loan starts to come together. According to these hypotheses, Caryn's camp is telling a story of deferred recompense. During the tough times on the farm, especially during the hectic transition periods and the height of the pumpkin season expansions, Caryn is said to have lent the firm money or agreed to put off her salary and bonuses to keep the cash flow positive. In a way, she is saying that she was the farm's private bank. She is portraying this $500,000 amount not as a way to get money, but as a way to pay back years of hard work. She is acting like she is the farm's savior, the one who kept the lights on when the margins were very small, and today the land is worth millions of dollars. She just wants her money back. It is a powerful story that makes her seem like a victim of Matt's bad money management. But we can't ignore the evil side of this time. If this debt was real, why didn't the kids know about it at the first talks? Zach thought that the value of the farm was based on market rates and standard assets when he sat down at the negotiation table. If the land had $500,000 in private debt, that would completely affect how much equity there is. By keeping this quiet until the last minute, when the title surge brought it to light, Caryn effectively put a landmine in the center of the deal. This means that the purpose wasn't simply to acquire money, but also to control the process by tying the debt to the land instead of just suing Matt. She makes sure that no deal can go through without her signature. She has put herself in the chain of title. She has taken on the role of gatekeeper for the Roloff legacy. Let's take a look at how this changes the balance of power. For years, we've watched Matt Roloff push his family around. He is a man who wants to be in charge and make decisions. But if these rumors are true, Matt has no power right now. The woman sleeping next to him may be holding him prisoner financially. He can't sell the land to the kids for less than full market value, since he needs the money to pay off Caryn's lien and still pay off the bank's mortgage. This is why he is so set on the price. Matt might not be greedy. It could be out of desperation. He can't lower the price since Caryn wants her cut off the top. This viewpoint changes Matt from the bad guy to the fool. He let his employee and eventually his partner get so deeply involved in the farm's business that he can't move without her approval. The source says that Caryn is rather smug about this line. She isn't keeping it a secret anymore. People think that she sees this as her retirement plan. She worked for a long time. She dealt with the drama in the household. She dealt with the mess and is now getting paid. She says it's to preserve her investment. But let's take a look at the numbers. $500,000 is a huge sum of money for unpaid management fees. That means years of unpaid employment, even at a good pay. Are we supposed to believe that Caryn Chandler, a woman who is clearly smart when it comes to business and money, works for free for years without a written contract? Or is it more possible that this lien was submitted after the fact? This leads us to the most troubling portion of the theory: the debt's legitimacy. A mechanic's lien is a strong instrument, but you need to show proof. You need to show that you added value to the property that you didn't pay for. There must be a paper trail if Caryn says she lent the farm money. There have to be bank transfers, deposit slips, and promissory notes. But sources say that the paperwork is shockingly unclear. It's based on internal records of management fees that were earned but never paid out. It smells like creative bookkeeping. And this is when the barrier turns into a weapon. Even if the debt is not real, it costs time and money to combat a lien. The kids would have to go to court to dispute Caryn's claim. They would have to stop the sale, engage forensic accountants, and spend years in court. Caryn is aware of this. She knows that the Roloffs don't want to fight in court. They want to end things cleanly. She basically dares them to go against her, knowing that they will probably just pay her off to go. These beliefs say that the farm's atmosphere is bad for you. Matt is being very careful. He wants to make up with his family, or at least look like he does, but his partner has a tight grip on his money. Caryn is said to whip out the ledger every time hubby recommends giving in to the kids. She tells him what he owes. She uses her position as a creditor and as the person who knows where all the money is buried to her advantage. Keep in mind that Caryn ran the farm for a long time. She knows how to do taxes. She knows how to write off things. She is aware of every loophole that Matt has ever used. This lien works as a silencer. Matt couldn't dispute with her because if he does, she can tell everyone about the whole financial history of Roloff Farms. And now let's talk about the kids. People say that Zach and Jeremy are quite angry, but also puzzled. They knew Caryn was connected, but they didn't realize she owned a part of the dirt. It's a slap in the face to learn that part of the reason the price was so high was to pay off their father's girlfriend. It proves every doubt they ever had about her reasons for being there. Fans have thought for years that Caryn was a gold digger and that she was just in it for the money. This lien, if it's real, is the proof. It is the final confirmation that she doesn't consider the farm as a home for her family, but as a bank account that needs to be emptied. The barrier she made makes it practically impossible for the family to buy the house. The kids can't pay market value plus Caryn's tax. If a property's title is unclear, the bank won't lend against it. The whole deal is stuck. But there is one person who can move. Someone who isn't afraid to get their hands filthy and knows the history of that farm better than Caryn. Amy Roloff. Even though she sold her share of the land, she still cares deeply about the heritage and is still connected to the business's financial history from the year she was married to Matt. Insider beliefs say that Amy has heard about this lien and is furious, not just because it damages the kids, but also because the figures don't seem right to her. Amy remembers the years when Caryn says she lent money. Amy was present. She remembers the budgets. She remembers how the money came in and went out. And she remembers that the farm was producing money. The farm manager didn't need to give them $500,000. Amy's involvement changes this from a real estate dispute to a mystery story. She is said to be confused by the claim. The question she is asking is where Caryn got the $500,000 to lend the farm in 2012. At that time, Caryn worked for the company and probably made a lot of money. She had enough cash on hand to keep the firm going. It doesn't make sense. Amy thinks this might not be a loan at all. She thinks this is a lie, a rewriting of history meant to take money away from the Matt and Amy era and put it straight into Caryn's pocket. Amy sees this obstruction for what it is, a robbery. The stress is getting worse. Caryn is sitting on a legal document that gives her the ability to decide what happens to the farm in the future. She says she is a martyr who saved the business. On the other hand, the family is shut out, priced out, and lied to. And in the middle, Matt Roloff is weak and can't tell the truth. The roadblock is just the start, though. When Amy starts to pull on the loose threads of her financial sweater, she will find something a lot worse than just an unpaid bill. The inquiry is about to start, and what is hidden in those old ledgers is going to stun you. It's not just about the money anymore, it's about cheating. We are going to enter the world of forensic accounting, where we keep track of every dollar, and the route takes a surprising turn that no one anticipated coming. We're back, and the rabbit hole is about to become a lot deeper. If you thought it was stunning that there was a $500,000 lien, what Amy Roloff supposedly finds next elevates this from a money disagreement into a possible criminal plot. We already know that the blockage is in place. The farm is cold, but Amy Roloff isn't the kind of person who will sit back and let history change. Our sources say that Amy didn't just become mad, she went serious. The idea is that Amy quietly engaged a forensic accountant, who is good at finding hidden assets and untangling complicated business problems, to look over the years that Caryn says she lent this money. We mean the years 2011 to 2015, when the farm was growing the most and things were the most hectic. Amy still has access to some historical documents from when she was a partial owner, and she knows the farm's baseline earnings better than anybody else. She knows that a $500,000 gap doesn't just happen, and that a $500,000 infusion doesn't just show up out of nowhere. The investigation starts with a basic idea. Follow the cash. There has to be a deposit if Caryn Chandler lent the farm $500,000. At some point, money had to have migrated from Caryn's personal bank account to the business account of the Roloff farm. This is fundamental accounting. You can't have a debt if you don't have a principal. The forensic team then begins to go through the historical ledgers, digital transfer data, and bank statements from those years. They are asking for a wire transfer, a check, or anything else that matches the amount Caryn says she owes in her lien. They look for weeks. They check the dates against each other, and here's the big news that insiders are talking about. They don't find anything at all. Let that sink in. This premise of the investigation says that there is no record of $500,000 coming into the farm's accounts from Caryn Chandler. No wire transactions or personal checks are allowed. The money she says she lent the business never actually left her own accounts. This is the first big warning sign. How can she say she owes money if she didn't send it? Most people would stop there and say it was fraud. But the forensic accountant Amy is said to have hired kept looking because they saw something else. They couldn't detect any money coming in from Caryn, but they did see an unusual pattern of money moving around on the farm. This is when the phantom loan hypothesis really gets dark. The detectives changed their focus from deposits to income. They began to look at the financial flow during the pumpkin seasons of those years. People know that the pumpkin patch makes a lot of money. In October, tens of thousands of people come to the site and pay for parking, take wagon trips, and buy food. A huge amount of revenue flows through there. If you're not careful, it might be a nightmare to keep track of. The forensic team says they found differences between the ticket sales registered at the gate and the actual deposits made into the main farm bank account. There was a gap, a steady percentage of revenue that seemed to disappear before it got to the main ledger. What happened to this money? The investigation supposedly found a second account, a management operational account that was set up to handle small amounts of cash and payments to vendors. Caryn, the farm manager, was said to be in charge of this account. The argument says that for years, some of the farm's gross income was being put into this side account. We are talking about $50,000 here and $100,000 there, which was taken from the major source of income. To someone who doesn't know much about accounting, this could just look like bad bookkeeping. But the forensic accountant noticed the pattern. It wasn't like someone was stealing the money and going away to Mexico. It was being kept. It was being added up. And here's the twist that makes this the worst money trap in reality TV ever. According to the theory, the loan that Caryn is saying is hers isn't really hers. The money belongs to the farm. According to the forensic analysis, this money that was taken from the farm's main account and put in a secondary account for a few months would then be moved back to the main account to pay for expenses during the off-season. But here's the important part. When it was sent back, it wasn't counted as income. The books showed it as a manager contribution or a short-term loan. Do you see how smart the plan is? Caryn is said to have taken the farm's own money, put it in a pot she controlled, and then lent it back to the farm as a loan from herself. She was turning the farm's money into her own debt. She made money into a debt. Every time she rescued the day by using money from that side account to pay the bills in February, she was writing herself an IOU for money that the farm already owned. These loans accumulated up over the course of 5 or 6 years. They were interested. They added up till they got to that shocking $500,000 number. This shows how the lien works. Caryn's documentation isn't based on a check she wrote from her savings account. This is based on the entries in the internal ledger. She has a paper trail that shows she lent the money, but the firm itself was the source of the money. It is a circular flow of money that takes equity away from the owners and gives it to the manager. If this notion is true, it suggests that Matt Roloff is not really being blackmailed. He's being gaslit in a very serious way. He thinks he has to pay her this money because he saw the loans go into the account throughout the hard months. He didn't know, or didn't want to know, that the money came from the earnings he had made on his pumpkin patch months before. The effects of this are terrible. This isn't merely a disagreement between people anymore. If Amy can show that the money she borrowed came from business earnings that was supposed to go to her, then the loan is fake, but it's even worse than that. It signifies a breach of fiduciary duty that is so bad it could lead to criminal proceedings. It seems like Amy was taking care of the kids and Matt was building castles, but the money that would make up their legacy was slowly disappearing. The phantom loan isn't fake because the money is real. The money is false since the person who owns it is not real. Amy is said to be sitting on this proof and looking at the spreadsheets that show the circular transfers. She realizes that the dates line up nicely. The drop in revenue in October is the same as the loan injection in January. It's a game of shells. And all of a sudden, Matt's actions made sense. He might not even know how bad it is. He might really think the farm was losing money, not knowing that Caryn was just moving the profit to debt. According to this theory, Matt is not the mastermind, but the target. He was the object of a long deception that made sure that if the farm were sold, the first $500,000 would go to the person who kept the records. You can feel the tension in the room where the investigation is going on. Amy knows she has the smoking gun. This proof doesn't merely make the lien go away. It completely ruins Caryn's credibility. It shows that the investment she says she's protecting was stolen from the family heritage right away. But having the proof and implementing it are two different things. Amy understands that if she drops this nuclear bomb, Matt will be embarrassed, the show's chemistry will be ruined, and someone could go to jail. It's not simply money laundering that makes things interesting. It's the realization that the whole financial mess of the last 10 years might have been made up to get this debt. The farm was not going to fail. It was losing water. Now Amy needs to make a choice. Does she just use this to clear the land for the kids, or does she want to destroy everything? As we get closer to the end of this story, things are getting ready for a fight that will make the divorce process look easy. Amy isn't going to see the lawyers yet. She's going to the source. She wants to see how they react when she puts the bank statements on the table. The fake loan has been found out, and the trap Caryn laid for the family is ready to close on her own fingers. But Caryn isn't going to give up without a fight, and she has one last chance. A paper that Matt signed years ago that could prove the debt, no matter where the money came from. We are so close to the last fight. It's time for the end game. The forensic accountant has finished the job. The paper trail has been found, and the idea of the phantom loan has gone from a suspicion to a weapon. Amy Roloff is now stepping into the main home, not as an ex-wife, but as the person who is going to end Caryn's control over the farm's money. Insider accounts say that the fight was so bad that the cameras were told to cease rolling. This wasn't TLC material. This was an action taken by the law. Based on the schedule we are putting together, Amy asked for an emergency meeting with Matt and Caryn, saying she wanted to talk about the kids' inheritance. But she didn't have a peace offering when she walked in. She had a binder with bank statements, transfer records, and a letter to the IRS that she had written. It must have been hard to breathe in the room. Caryn sat there with the assurance of someone who has $500,000 and probably thought Amy would beg. She probably thought she would have to negotiate to get a check for her settlement. But Amy quickly changed the story. She didn't say anything about the justice of the debt. She went after the fact that it existed. The idea is that Amy put the forensic accountant's results right on the coffee table. She pointed to the dates. She revealed the money that was taken out of the pumpkin patch. She revealed the money that had been put into Caryn's private management account. And then, a few days later, she showed the loans going back into the farm's books. "You didn't lend Caryn money for the farm." Amy is supposed to have remarked, "You used the farm's own money to make up a fake debt." The quiet that followed was deafening. Matt Roloff, who thinks of himself as a business genius, was said to be shocked. He looked at the documents. He noticed how money flowed in a circle. He had thought for years that Caryn was using her own money to save the business. He had signed promissory notes because he thought that, but when he looked at the proof, it hit him like a freight train. He had been tricked. The money that saved the farm in January was the same money the farm made in October, but it was sent under Caryn's name so that a lien could be put on the land. People say that Caryn tried to change her mind. She tried to say that the money she took was her rightful bonuses and that she opted to lend it back. But Amy was ready for that. She used her best card, the nuclear option. What Caryn is said to have done is a type of conversion and fraud in the business sector. It is against the law to file a mechanic's lien based on false financial information. Filing fraudulent documents with the county clerk is a crime. Also, structuring transactions to obscure where the money came from is a huge red flag for the IRS. Amy didn't just say she would sue, she said she would provide the whole binder to the federal government. There are two things you can do. They say Amy told them, "You can keep this lien on the property. I will leave and send this to the IRS Criminal Investigation Section and the district attorney. You can also sign this paper to release the lien right now. Admit that the debt is paid and go." The balance of power changed right away. Caryn Chandler is a brilliant person. She knows the difference between a civil case and a criminal charge. The IRS would look at more than just the farm if they started looking into those management accounts. They would check everything. Everything about her taxes, her money, and her property will be looked at closely. The risk was too great. The $500,000 she believed she had gotten was now radioactive. She looked at Matt, maybe hoping he would protect her or find a way out. But Matt was looking down at the floor, ashamed. He knew that if this went to court, he would look like the biggest idiot in Oregon. He had allowed his lover take his money and then give it back to him with interest. The barricade fell apart at that moment. Caryn is said to have reached for the pen when she realized she had been checkmated. There was no deal. There was no buyout. She had to give up the claim to prevent going to jail and a public scandal that would ruin her image. She signed lien's release. The cloud about the title went away right away. The $500,000 debt that was holding up the talks with the kids disappeared because it was never real to begin with. What happened after this meeting is what we see in the tabloids now. The farm is devoid of any legal problems. Matt may now sell the land without having to pay off a fake creditor, but his ego will never be the same. The idea explains why Matt has seemed so exhausted and down in the last few months. He isn't simply having problems with his kids. He is sleeping close to the person who almost took his heritage away from him. He can't get rid of her since she knows too much. But the trust is gone. He is stuck in a prison that he built for himself. Amy Roloff left the house with the signed release in her hand. Victor, the silent one. She didn't do it to gain the land back for herself. She did it so that when the time comes, the kids won't have to deal with a lot of phony debt. She cleaned up Matt's mess one last time. This win shows that Amy still owns the truth, even while Matt has the dirt. The sale of the farm might still be hard, and the relationships might be ruined, but the financial parasite that was taking away the equity is gone. The ghost loan is no longer there. But this makes me wonder the most. What else has Caryn done if she was willing to go this far to get a payout? What other contracts has Matt signed without reading the small print? And why does Matt still want to be with her? Is it love or is it fear? Is she threatening him with something else? Something that even the forensic accountant couldn't find? The lien might be gone, but the threat to the Roloff legacy is still very real. The farm is a target as long as Caryn is around. Matt Roloff may have missed a bullet, but he is still in the line of fire. This is the most dangerous money game ever played on TV, and you can see it happen right now. The phantom loan was only the beginning. We will keep looking through public data and investigating until we find the reality that the program seeks to hide. This takes us to you. We need to know what you think. Do you think Matt is a victim of a master manipulator? Or do you think he was in on it until he got caught? Did Caryn actually try to take $500,000 from the family? TLC is scared to tell this story. Comment Team Justice below right now. If you think Amy saved the farm, tell them we know the truth. And if you think Matt needs to wake up and exit this bad relationship before he loses everything, click the like button. Don't forget to sign up and set on alerts. We are currently following a new rumor concerning the Arizona property that says another financial trap is being set right now. You don't want to miss the next update? This has been Emotion 24, and I'm your host. We'll see you in the comments. More update. Matt Roloff takes fans inside gorgeous new house. Fans rip Amy Roloff's husband. Chris Marek, why? And Caryn Chandler's son Connor overdosed multiple times. Amy Roloff missing on big day. Matt sweating bullets. I will explain everything. Matt Roloff, a star of Little People Big World, has a lovely new home. He recently shared it with some special guests. What are the latest news on Matt, his new house, and everything else he has going on? There are a lot of things that Matt Roloff is. He is a dad, a grandpa, a TV star, and more. Matt Roloff is also a builder, which is another feature about him. The TLC star is continuously working on a building project. There is always something for Matt and his team to do at Roloff Farms, whether they are building something new or fixing up an old one. Matt's most recent huge undertaking was building the dream home that he and Caryn Chandler would live in together. Fans of the Little People Big World star have been following along with all of the accomplishments he has made. Matt and his team were busy building a new home for him and Caryn Chandler in Little People Big World. They didn't hold back on spending money and wanted everything to be just right. Matt Roloff indicated that he and Caryn will be moving into their new home by December because building was going faster than planned. A lot of Little People Big World fans are interested in this new home and its many distinctive characteristics now that it's February. At first, Matt wanted to live in a farmhouse, but as work started on the building, he claimed that this new house was starting to feel more modern. The construction started in March 2023. This was when Matt Roloff started building after 5 years of planning. His youngest son, Jacob Roloff, has also helped him a lot. Jacob moved into Matt's old house after the new one was finished. Matt Roloff recently had some unexpected guests over, even after he had worked so hard on the project. Matt gave an update when he was with his grandkids. This time, it's from the Roloff side of the family, Jeremy and Audrey. It looked like everyone liked the new place. Matt Roloff stated, "The kids love the wall vacuum at Little Papa's house." The update that Matt Roloff posted doesn't say much about how the rest of the house looks. There are other hints besides the wall vacuum, though. In the background, you can see brick fittings, hardwood floors, and windows that go from floor to ceiling. Matt Roloff really went all out with this project, and his grandkids seem to adore it. It seems like the new place will be a lot of fun, and a great place to make memories. Fans rip Amy Roloff's husband, Chris Marek, why? Fans of Little People Big World recently ripped at Chris Marek, Amy Roloff's husband. What did those who watched him say? Amy Roloff, a star of Little People Big World, met her future husband, Chris Marek, in 2016. They met at a mixer and really clicked. Amy was in the process of getting a divorce from Matt Roloff at the time, and she wanted to try dating. For 28 years, Amy and Matt Roloff were married. At that point, neither of them was anywhere near being back on the dating scene. Amy still wanted to try her luck and get back out there. She quickly found Chris Marek. They have definitely made things work all these years later. Chris Marek and Amy's ex, Matt, are even friends. Since they got married in August 2021, Amy Roloff and Chris Marek have been wedded. From the outside, it looks like they have a happy and successful marriage. Chris has fit in with the family, and he has even tried to get to know Zach and Tori Roloff's young kids. Chris has even been in sequences from Little People Big World. Amy and Chris regularly go to exotic places across the world when they're not filming for TLC or spending time together at home. They recently flew to Ireland to spend some time on the Emerald Isle. These two look great on paper. But fans of Little People Big World recently said some scary things about Chris. Fans of Little People Big World have been worried about Chris Marek lately, especially about how he reacted when Amy Roloff talked about perhaps being sick and other problems that came up since she has achondroplasia. One fan said, "Chris is giving me really sketchy vibes." When Amy talks about how she might become sick or have problems since she has dwarfism, he smiles and says he wouldn't worry about it until it becomes a serious problem. Another reviewer said, "It's like he's in denial, but he also seems dismissive, even gaslighty." Some other fans of Little People Big World went even further and said that Chris was purposefully going after someone with a problem to satisfy some kind of sick fantasy. Another said, "Guy is a creep." Amy is dumb. I am an adult with a neurological handicap. It is real. Individuals look for disabled individuals for reasons, to make themselves feel better about themselves, or to hurt them. Fans of Little People Big World definitely adore Chris, and not everyone feels he has a secret plan for Amy. This does give us something to think about when it comes to his motives, though. This is more than enough for viewers to think about as the season goes on. Caryn Chandler's son, Connor, overdosed multiple times. Caryn Chandler, who stars in Little People Big World, had some issues with her son, Connor. Now, it's said that he overdosed and had to go to the hospital multiple times. Matt Roloff's fiancé has troubles in the past. In 2021, he pled guilty to threatening behavior toward his mom after being arrested in 2020. It's not known if drug addiction was a problem in the fight. After Connor was arrested, the LPBW star became a grandma to baby Liam. His grandmother has posted a few pictures of him on social media since he got there in August 2021. There aren't many images of Connor, though. Based on what Connor told the media about the TLC episode, it looks like he and his mom are talking again. But not with Ashley Washam, the mother of his child. Caryn Chandler put her house in Portland up for sale. Her son Connor had moved in when he broke up with Ashley, but the son said he is now set for pastures new. He might not be able to take his son Liam with him wherever he travels. That's because his ex wants to have her son full-time. Court records show that Ashley says she is terrified to let Connor be alone with her son Liam. Fans of TLC heard that she said his erratic and unsafe behavior scares her. The Sun's recent report says that court documents show that Ashley Washam said Connor was hospitalized 12 times for overdosing. The court hearing memo about Caryn Chandler's son also said, "Father also has or had a drug problem with Xanax, which he says he gave up when he reached 18. Mom used to be addicted to Xanax, but she quit using it before she got pregnant with Liam." Fans of Little People Big World can only guess how Caryn Chandler feels about the fight for custody. Did she realize that her kid was said to have overdosed so many times? Maybe the LPBW star's hospital records show some bad news. She is silent for now, but she is undoubtedly in pain. In the end, Liam's arrival didn't make her son happy. What do you think about the fact that Caryn Chandler's son Connor is said to have been in the hospital more than 10 times after taking too much of a drug? Do you feel bad for him and his mother? Did you know that Ashley Washam, his ex-girlfriend, is fighting him for custody of their son Liam? Amy Roloff, missing on big day. Matt sweating bullets. Spoilers for Little People. Major World Season 25 say that it's the day of Amy Roloff's major fundraiser, but she's not there, so everyone else has to do her work. So what else do teasers show? Amy Roloff's whole story on Little People Large World this season has been about her preparing and carrying out a large fundraising. The problem is that the event is at Roloff Farms. Amy has had to be kind to Matt Roloff and Caryn Chandler, though. Chris Marek and the other 3 members of the Little People Big World group have been working together to prepare the fundraising. It's not surprised that Amy and Matt have been fighting the whole time they've been planning, which reminds many viewers why they are divorced and dating other people now. Not unexpectedly, there have been a lot of unpleasant times between Amy Roloff and Matt Roloff when they were arranging this campaign. They both want to be the boss and make the decisions. These two have been fighting and pulling each other all season long. His is especially true now that Amy has decided to be in charge. There was also a misunderstanding about things that Matt's workers were moving. Matt Roloff and Amy Roloff still get on each other's nerves in a lot of little ways like this. Amy indicated before that she tries her best to be nice to Matt and Caryn, but that mask came off more than a little during the planning for this benefit. Season 25 teasers say that the big day of the fundraising is here. A lot of things are going on in teasers because everyone is trying to make things as flawless as they can. It's shocking that Amy Roloff can't be found. It's not good for anyone that Amy Roloff is missing on the day of her big fundraiser. In teasers, Matt Roloff and Caryn Chandler are in a panic, and everyone else is racing around like headless chickens, trying to get everything where it needs to be. In teasers, Matt Roloff indicates that he is going to lose it shortly. Chris Merrick is also absent in action, and Amy Roloff is not there on her big day. So it's time to get things done because guests will be arriving soon. In the next moments, things are definitely going to get tough because Amy and Chris are nowhere to be seen. No more today? What are you thinking about this gossip today? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned by subscribing to our channel to get more updates like this. Thank you.